Okay, so this video is going to be relationship advice. Now, I'm not an expert on it. In my own head I am, so I'm just going to share like the knowledge that I have that I feel makes, the most successful relationships. So, like in the comments, I know you're probably going to say like that's not good advice or that doesn't work for everybody, and that's true also. All right, so something that's super important in a relationship is choosing your words wisely. Every relationship has arguments, or you're irritated with them and you just make like these sly comments, maybe on a daily basis. But there should be like a line that you decide beforehand that you will never cross, that you will never say to your partner. Some words that you just cannot take back. Because even if you feel like they get over it in the moment, trust me, people hold on to that stuff for a very long time or possibly forever. They just can't let it go. And like, especially if it's something they told you in confidence, it's like a deep secret or something along those lines, and then you use that against them in an argument, then that's just they're gonna lose trust in you, and it's just gonna hurt, make them feel like vulnerable and stupid about it almost. So I know emotional regulation is really hard for a lot of people. I know people that suffer from like borderline personality disorder have this problem with like lashing out. I mean, not everyone, of course, but that is like one of the common symptoms of BPD. So you just can't hold it in, or you just say these like obscene things because you just don't know how to regulate those emotions that you're feeling in the moment. So to prevent that, just think ahead of time. Like I said, a line that you are never going to cross. Just say, I will not say these words or talk about this topic that me and them have talked about before in an argument. And then that's that. Now, I'm not saying you have to have like a perfect argument where you just like keep going back and forth, kindly or nicely or whatever, because that just isn't realistic for a lot of people. So there might still be like raising of voices, which maybe you should work on, but if not, that's fine. But the words that you say, just choose those wisely. I mean, it sounds like something simple to do, but it's really hard. But the more you work at it, the more you tell yourself in your head, and you just like make this a habit, the easier it's going to be to not slip those words out and make them feel low. And then maybe tell them that too. Like if they do that to you as well, tell them like, when we argue, can you please never mention this? And tell them like, I choose not to mention this, or say whatever because I respect you. I might be super mad at you, angry, but I would hope that you can do the same back for me. The next thing, listen to your partner talk. Now, a lot of people, when they're letting their partner talk, they're not actually hearing what they're saying. They're just waiting for their turn to talk because they want to get their point across. They feel like what they have to say is more important, or they're just eating at them. They just need to get it out, whatever it is. But then that's just not going to help you learn about each other or see where they're coming from, their point of view, and you might feel like they've, said so many times what their point of view is, and you're just annoyed at this point. But maybe all those times you didn't actually let it sink in or really hear what they have to say, So like make some alterations like that, and hopefully that it becomes like a contagious thing and they do the same thing back. You have like a really good dialogue going and you finally hear what they have to say, whether, it's like an argument or something that you're going through or just something they like. Okay, for example, my boyfriend had told me before, he's like, hey, like my sweater that I always wear, can you please just make sure that it's not on the ground, like when you make the bed, or don't hang it back in the closet. I like it like close by. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. So I would always just hang it up in the closet, because I have everything color coded. I'm like, no, just simple to grab it right there. And then I would just notice he'd be like, oh, I thought you weren't going to put it up there. I'm like, no, yeah, I just put it away for you. He's like, no, I know, I just kind of wanted it closer, blah, blah, blah. So one day it clicked, I'm like, why am I not hearing what he's saying? It's something so dumb, so simple. I'm choosing to do what I want to do. I want it hung up. But all he's asking is for something so stupid. Can you please keep my sweater by the bed and not on the floor? So I had this little hook over the door and boom, hung the sweater up. And he seemed so happy that I did that rather than put it in the closet. It's right by the bed, easy to grab. And I felt that joy from him, because when you've asked someone before something, they actually did it and heard the message that you had to say, I know it made you feel good, because I felt good from that before. Like, wow, they really heard me. They took the time out and just listened. So it's just something as simple as that creates like a respect and just a kindness between each other. The next example is letting them speak for themselves. Now, I'm going to talk from like a female point of view. Like, for example, like when people go out to eat, a lot of times the woman will order for the man, her boyfriend or whatever. And that's because she knows what he likes. And honestly, it looks like she just kind of wants to rush the order because he's going to like stumble on it. And she's like, no, let me just say it. I know how to say it, and just be direct and get it done with, you know? But that kind of like emasculates him in a way. And you're not letting him be himself. And the more you do that, the less chance he has of, perfecting it or something so dumb like speaking to the server and whatnot. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do this. That's just like an example of something that I did notice that a lot of women do order for their man. Maybe the guy has social anxiety and he doesn't want to order, and that's fine. But I bet you if he was able to order more, the more he did it, the more confident he would be in his own voice. And it would just feel good to be able to do that for oneself. Something as small as ordering food at a restaurant. And I guess this can go vice versa, but I'm telling it from like a female point of view. Another thing is that I notice we act like we know what his thoughts are going to be and say, oh yeah, I know, like this is how you want something or this or that. And maybe that's not even what they're thinking at all. And it's kind of annoying when someone tries to finish your thoughts. Like, let them get it out. Let them say it, even if you know what it's going to be and they're, just dancing around it and taking forever to get to the point that they're trying to say. Just let them, that's for them, their story to tell. And then you're just taking that voice away from them. And I had to catch myself doing it because I noticed maybe 2 times out of all the times that I was actually wrong. And my boyfriend had said, no, that's not what I was going to say. And I was like appalled. I'm like, oh my God, I always know what he's going to say. But that's crazy. Like, try to not, foretell what he's going to say. You're sitting there, instead of being in the moment and having this conversation or listening to him have a conversation with someone, you're sitting there thinking of the future, of what is going to happen, instead of just being right there and letting it happen. You're dominating the conversation, you're taking over, you're leading it the way that you want to, or the way that you feel more comfortable with the conversation going, because it's what you know or what you think it is. So just let someone have their voice. Compliments. Say you're with someone for like in a long-term relationship, married or dating or whatever, and you realize like over the years you guys just don't thank each other for anything. Say that your husband or boyfriend finally did the dishes, whatever. You're sitting there thinking in your head, well, I'm not gonna thank him for it, and I'm sure he's wanting you to notice that he did the dishes, since it doesn't happen often if that's the case, just for the scenario we're saying. And you're like, I'm not gonna thank him, he should have been doing that. But what would work better is if you didn't thank him and said, well, good, about time you did it, or if you said, oh, you got the dishes done, thanks. Like, just swallow your pride and say thank you, because that's gonna make them feel noticed, or like, hey, you seen that I did this, and probably gonna make them want to do it more. And if not, then you can work on that or whatever, or have a conversation, and that's like a whole another issue entirely. But sometimes make them feel appreciated for the little things they do, because not everyone does things on a timeline that you do. Maybe someone like me, like I wash the dishes instantly after I make a meal, or whatever I use, I always like them clean. But that's me, that's my personality type, that's the way I like things. So your partner's not going to be the exact same kind of personality type. Maybe they like to wait or a couple days, and you might think it's gross or whatever, but why do you get to be the one that chooses how the dishes and when the dishes get done? And like I said, like the dishes is just an example. It's just little things like that. But also with compliments, you need to kind of reel them in too. Some people are too thankful. And then when you're too thankful and you're always saying, oh my God, thank you for all of these things, the thank you doesn't carry that much weight anymore. You know, it doesn't have as much meaning to them. So it's like kind of like you're not even saying it. So when you kind of reserve it for, you know, various times instead of all the time, then it holds the weight and makes them feel really good. All right, this next one I have always felt was like one of the most important things in a relationship, to keep the mystery alive. And you do that by not laying out all your cards, by not giving all your secrets in life, because there will always be more they learn about you or find out about you. They don't know everything. I'm not just talking about secrets either. I'm just talking about like maybe some of your thoughts. You know, sometimes you hold some things in, and it's more of a mysterious kind of nature about you. And I'm not saying try to be mysterious. I'm saying just don't let it all out all the time. You know, make them guess what's in your head or what you're thinking. And the longer that you are in a relationship, yes, people tend to like tell more about like their lives and like secrets that they've had from childhood or whatever, but don't tell everything, you know, because then you're painting the whole picture of exactly who you're saying that you are, and that's it, and that's that. Keep some of them to yourself. Let that just be for you and yourself to know. I know that you do want to like share things because it's like cathartic and it just makes you feel good, but not everything has to be shared with your partner. On the other hand, don't be secretive. Like if they ask you, just be honest. You know, secretive definitely is not the way to go. That has nothing to do with mysterious. That will kill all the trust in a relationship. So don't blur the lines of like mysterious and secretive. And then like to tie into this about keeping the mystery alive, this also ties into bodily functions. Now, I know I've talked to so many people and interviewed so many people about the relationship when it comes to like passing gas, going to the bathroom from their partner, popping pimples, like just all various topics like bodily functions. And I just noticed like patterns and trends. So I'm just gonna say it from my point of view, how I feel. And I feel like a lot of people are gonna get like mad or just say that's not true, that's not how we are, and that you're probably totally right for you. But I feel like you should not go to the bathroom in front of your partner. I have been in a long-term relationship and never went to the bathroom in front of my partner. You know, that's something that you can prevent. Even if there's one bathroom in the house, which had been the scenario before, you don't, you know, wait till they're done or just say I have to use the bathroom. And I've even mentioned them before. They're like, oh no, don't worry, it's okay. And I'm like, nope, I just would prefer not to. Like we're totally comfortable with each other, you know, we could brush our teeth in front of each other, all that. But I feel like not everything needs to be shared or seen, especially something like that. I feel like it keeps like the sexiness, the sexy vibes between each other when you're not doing that, when you're not farting in front of your partner. Now, sometimes it's like really funny. Like I grew up with brothers and they're hilarious when they are like farting or doing whatever. But in a relationship, I feel like it kills the passion a little bit. Now, I've also talked to couples that do fart in front of each other and like, oh no, our sex life is great. And I mean, I'm sure that's true, you know, for the time being, or maybe it will always be true. But I would feel like it's a higher probability if you do not do that. And yes, you can hold it in. And I'm not saying like hold it to where your stomach's hurting. I mean, just walk around the corner or, you know, try to be silent with it. If it happens as an accident, then that's fine. But if you're always like farting by your partner, it just takes some of that mystery away. You know, as funny as it can be. And then like showering and stuff in front of each other, that's a little different, I feel like. But at the same time, having your own shower for the majority of the time, I think is kind of cool too, because that's your own little alone time. You're not always seeing each other's body in the nude, so it's more exciting like when you do. Like a lot of couples shower together every day, and that's cool. Maybe it's saving time, or they just like that connection in the morning. But I feel like for me, I love my own alone time. That's for me, just to have my own thoughts and just chill. And like I said, then it's less times they do see you like that. So when your partner does get to see your body, then it's possibly more exciting. I do feel like it's important that you have your own separate life, because if you do everything together, it's gonna get boring, or you're gonna get tired of each other. Even if you are best friends, it's just so much presence of them, especially if they live with you, that you're not giving each other time to miss. Even if you live together, like I said, you're not giving each other like those 2-3 hours a day just to not see them, to grow that excitement and anticipation of seeing them later on that night. If you're doing everything, then what else is there to talk about when you're sharing everything always in those moments? You want to kind of tell your story. At the same time, you have to keep that connection by doing things together also. Now, I'm not saying like go try all these new things, because for relationship advice, I've always heard make sure you always try new hobbies with your partner to keep the spark alive. And I'm someone that does not like to try a lot of new things. I mean, some people are that outgoing that they would, and like more power to you, but like that's just mentally draining for me to sit there and try to think of all these new hobbies that we have to do together. It would feel like a to-do list that is just never ending, and I don't want that pressure on myself. And the last one is appearance. Now, looks, of course, are important in a relationship. The mind, the connection, whatever, all that, of course, is super important. But letting yourself go over time will kill passion in the relationship. Now, there's like a gray area here, because couples that are married like 30-40 years, some of them end up having like thyroid problems or really major health issues, that they're gaining weight, or they're going through like a deep depression, that they really can't do anything about it, maybe in the moment, or it's just hard for them to fight that. So no one's talking about like that. I'm talking about like maybe when you're younger, or even when you're older, like where you just start overeating, binging all the time, not caring, not working out at all, and just maybe not shaving. Like for a woman, not shaving your legs for like a couple weeks, or a male just like grown scruff, or not showering or whatever, that's gross. That's all another topic if you're not showering. But just different things like that. That's gonna kill the relationship, like the passion between it over time, and make you become more like roommates. So like from a woman's point of view, I feel like I always shave, my legs are always smooth, and it's not that hard to do. It takes about 20 seconds to shave both my legs every day. I always take showers, I'm always fresh, just simple things like that. And I don't mean appearance in like ways where you gotta put makeup on, because I usually never wear makeup. So it's not about getting all dolled up. It's just about maintaining your appearance and just taking care of yourself and like good health, things like that. My rule in my own head was always to never wear sweats like around the house or in public. I mean, I've had a couple pairs of sweats that were like going out sweats that are like cute, something like that, but I'm talking about like those big baggy ones that are super comfortable that you wear to bed. But I feel like the more you do that, it's just not a sexy thing for your partner. Now, I'm not going to bed wearing like this lingerie all the time, but something like maybe a simple like black tee, and maybe some shorts, so it's still comfortable, but they're a little bit tighter, a little form-fitting, so you're still showing like that female physique. It's still engaging, like it's sparking that passion between you. But I hate saying this, because I feel like people are like, no, I want to be comfortable. When I say this is just for me, like what I would do. I'm still super comfortable, but I just notice, like, I've talked to people in relationships, and they've said like, oh yeah, like my girlfriend just doesn't really wash her hair ever. It's been like weeks, and she's sitting there like popping her pimples in front of me, and they're okay with it. They're like, oh, that's cool. We're used to that, and that's fine. But are they going to be like sexually turned on as much as they normally would be, or is that like libido going to like slowly decline over time for that person because of like things like this. Some people like will look back 10 years and be like, what happened? Why are we not having sex? Like, what happened to our sex life? I think it's like all in like the little details, such as the things that I just mentioned. And like I said, it doesn't have to be anything extreme. It's not even about like getting your hair done, wearing makeup, anything like that. It's just staying fresh, clean, shaving, maintaining, like little details like that. But I hope you like this video. It's kind of rushed because I just had a kid 12 days ago. So she'll be crying soon. And I need to go in there. But I've been waiting to make this video. Kind of made an outline, just flew through it. All right. And I got a couple more videos coming up soon.